Okay guys, let's talk numbers. Let's talk about what costs to expect when you're buying a home, because there are costs involved with buying a home. It's a big purchase, and even on some of the programs that advertise zero down or zero upfront or no down payment, there are still costs associated with buying a home. You need to know about what they are, and in this video I'm going to try to break it down very simple for you guys so you know exactly what to expect with no surprises. Okay? So the first thing to understand is that buying a home usually requires a down payment. All right, that's your skin in the game. That's saying, hey, listen, if you loan me 97% of this home's value, or sometimes even 100%, I will go ahead and give you a little bit of good faith money, create a little bit of equity in that property instantly by giving a down payment. Okay, it's a commitment. All right, it shows how serious you really are, and that's why typically it's required by lenders on most mortgages. Okay, so there are a few out there that don't have a down payment requirement, and so great, but typically you will have a down payment. Now that down payment can range anywhere from as little as $100 on some FHA programs to typically around 3 to 3.5% for a minimum down payment, all right, depending on if you're a first-time home buyer or if you're going with FHA, that sort of thing. Now, if you've got a credit score below 580, prepare to put at least 10% down to get an FHA loan, and you need a lot more money down than 3 or 5% typically if your scores are anywhere in the mid to low 600s for conventional. So keep that in mind. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions. As always, I invite you on this channel to text me or call me. My number's in the description below, and we'll look at your situation and let you know exactly what your down payment looks like. Now, after the down payment, right? So that's one expense. When you first get under contract on a home, typically the seller wants to see that same skin in the game or commitment from you. So they'll require, in most cases, an earnest money deposit. Okay, and your deposit stays with title in an escrow account that holds your money in it during the duration of the purchase process. Now that money ranges in amount. It could be, I've seen them as low as $1,000, $500, sometimes nothing if it's maybe two family members buying a home from each other or doing a transaction together. And that it can go typically to around 1% of the purchase price. So on a $300,000 home, expect to have to put down $3,000 to hold in escrow for your earnest money deposit. All right. Again, that's something that can be negotiated, so don't think you automatically have to have that money. And if you're using a loan product that doesn't require a down payment, well, you can expect to get that money back at closing. All right. So if you're in a situation where you don't have any closing costs to pay, like a VA loan, for example, and you put an earnest money deposit down and you have no closing costs thanks to seller credits or whatnot, and you put that earnest money down, that money's coming back your way if there's an overage of what you sent and what's needed. All right, so expect that. Now, also, when you get into the contract, the first thing you typically will do is look at the home inspection. All right, that's a cost. It can range anywhere from $150 to $800 or $900, depending on the area, the inspector, and what inspections you want done on the home. So be prepared to spend that. Now, that's not something required typically from us as a lender, but it is something that you typically want to do because you want to check on the home's health. All right, it's very important to know what you're buying and how healthy the property is. So keep in mind that your home inspection cost is something you'll need upfront. Now that can be put on a credit card, on a debit card. It can be paid cash, typically, depending on the business that you're using. But it's not something that we document in most cases on the loan estimate or include as part of the cost because it's optional. It's up to you whether you want to buy a home and inspect it or not. Obviously, typically a really good idea to get it inspected. All right, so now those inspections, all right, you can expect to do a full home inspection. That's pretty standard. Included with that, a 4-point inspection where they look at the roof, they look at the plumbing, the air conditioner, and the electrical, and they provide that to you so you have a kind of a condensed version of the full report, and maybe your insurance company wants that. So that may be an additional cost to the standard inspection. And then when it comes to your veteran loans, your VA loans, they require a WDO or a wood destroying organism inspection, termite report, different word or names for it. But that report is going to also detail if the home has any wood rot, any termite damage, previous or current infestation, that kind of thing. So expect to pay a little bit if you need to do that report there as well. Sometimes you need to do a septic inspection. Sometimes you need to do a well inspection, the test of water inspection, and that is an additional cost. So those are the type of things you can expect from the home inspection. Again, could range from $150 if you decide to just do the bare minimum or nothing, or all the way up to, again, $1,000 or more, depending on what you want the home to be inspected on. Now, once you're past that phase and you say, hey, I love this house, we're going to move forward, now we get into the appraisal. The appraisal is a cost that is required by us if the appraisal is required, and expect to see that on your loan estimate. That can range anywhere from $500 to $650 or more. It really just depends on the area and what the appraisal management company is charging between us and the appraiser, and what the appraiser charges. So there's a lot of things there. But that is typically paid for once we order the appraisal. And the reason why is because even if you don't buy that home, the appraiser still has to get paid. All right, so they're still going to want compensation for the report and the inspection that they go out and do. So typically we'll send a payment link to pay for that in most cases, okay? It's a case-by-case thing, but 90% of the time you're paying for it at the time we order the appraisal report. Now, once you're done with the appraisal, there's really not much that comes up when it comes to cost other than your final cash to close, which includes any remaining down payment, your closing costs, and again, any debts that need to be paid off to qualify, right? So sometimes we say, hey, in order to buy the house, you need to pay off this credit card or this car. And that number, that final number, may include the payoff for those items, all right? Now, things can come up. I've seen things come up where, maybe the person on paper is a little short on cash, and so now we've got to have some stuff paid for before closing. That's part of the closing cost, but just have it paid for before closing, like your home insurance. All right? You may get a quote and get a policy for your new house and say, I'd like to just go ahead and pay this for this now versus at closing. And that's cool. All we do is get the invoice from the insurance agent, and we show that it was paid, the receipt, and now we deduct it from your final cash to close. So technically it's something you can pay for ahead of time. Same goes for the survey. All right, the survey is something that needs to be done on a property that requires it, and it's not something that typically this title company requests you to pay before you close. However, surveyor still needs to get paid just like the appraiser, even if the house doesn't close or the deal doesn't go through. So we want to make sure that we look at that, but yeah, typically you'll have that paid at closing. Sometimes the title company will hold on to that expense, kind of leverage that, and then have it part of your closing costs at the end. All right, and like I said, the final thing is your cash to close. Whatever's left over for you to pay, that's your final thing. Now, once you move into your home, all right, who knows what the expenses could be? I'm here to talk about the mortgage process, but of course, things come up as a homeowner. So maybe you look into a home warranty, all right? Maybe you look into, furniture expenses, putting in new furniture, painting, things like that. So just keep in mind that those things are realistic and do come up all the time. Just the moving expenses, as an example, and you need to be prepared for those costs as well. All right. So there's different things that you may or may not, know about. Let's talk about it. Okay. Reach out to me if you want to talk about what cost for a purchase of a home looks like for you, and we'll go through it and we'll see what your situation looks like, what programs you qualify for. Maybe there's a grant out there that would benefit you and cover some of this cost. Maybe you qualify for 0% down. There's different programs out there available. So reach out to me. You have my information. Like I mentioned, in the description below, you've got my phone number. You can call me any day and text me 24/7. I'm here to help, guys. A lot of great information on the channel. So be sure to search through the videos and see if there's any topics that you also find interesting. I appreciate your support, and thanks for watching this video on the cost and what to expect there when it comes to buying a home. I'll see you guys on the next video.